Yes, we are on YouTube. So copy it, the link, and place it in, first of all, in a Word document, because if I forget, I can actually retrieve the same and save that file. No problem. Now, my next job is to go to
Namaste, Bikramjit sir. I hope I'm audible to you as well. Arti, I hope you got what Narahari sir was saying, that we will beam the Narlikar sir's message as well, and then I will give tribute message. Sir, ನನ್ನ voice ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಲ್ವಾ ನಿಮಗೆ?
ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. Perfectly audible.
Okay. Because I had not heard any response from you and Aarti, and then I thought, am I talking on mute?
ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ನೀವು ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ.
Sir, can I share my screen and test the audio in the video clip?
1 minute. I'm copying the link first of all.
Okay, fine.
எனக்கு சவுண்ட் கேட்க மாட்டேங்குது. இதை யூஸ் பண்ணதில்லை. நான் அப்புறம் வேணும்னா நான் போட்டுக்கிறேன்.
Hello. Sahana Prasad asked that she wants the link for joining this meeting. Can you send it now?
Yes, I'm sending it right away.
shall I start recording and then hand over to you?
Yes, sir.
Fine.
Yeah. You are sharing your screen.
Now you can carry on.
I think you are the host.
What is that I am sharing? Are you sharing or myself sharing? Okay. Now I have stopped sharing.
Yeah.
Now everything is in your hands because you are the host, I believe.
No, sir. You are the host.
How about now?
I got it.
Yes. Simultaneously make Aarti or becomes it, both of them are co-hosts to handle things.
Fine, sir.
I did.
शिरीष जी नमस्कार, बहुत दिन हो गया आपका दर्शन मिलके, अभी शुरुआत है इसलिए आपका स्वागत है.
Thank you for inviting.
You can start the meeting, I believe. Raghavendra sir, you can start the meeting.
Okay, sir. Yeah, I request Aarti to begin the program so that we can take it ahead.
Thank you, sir. Dear esteemed attendees, greetings from IASFS team. I am Aarti Priya, PhD Research Scholar, Program Assistant of the event. It is my great privilege to address the gathering in this evening. Indian Association for Science Fiction Studies is a registered organization which has been promoting research in the field of science fiction and has organized 22 science fiction conferences till date. We are happy to inform you that this is our Silver Jubilee year. This was made possible by your contribution, active participation, and support. On this day, we are gathered here to give tribute to Mrs. Mangala Narlikar, wife of Mr. Jayant V. Narlikar, in the form of this event. It is a great privilege for us to give a tribute to Mrs. Mangala Narlikar, who has a great name for her enormous work in the field of mathematics and her contributions to Indian science fiction. As a tribute, we would like to read self authored science fiction stories and present a few academic scholarly articles by the registered participants. As our way of giving her the blossoms of Indian science fiction. On this event, we invite the life members, delegates, paper presenters, self authors who would be reading their stories, and the guests such as Mr. A.P. Deshpande, Dr. A.P. Jayaraman, Dr. Manish Gore, Deb Ghosh, Dr. Ashish Mahabal, Dr. Vandana Singh, Dr. K.S. Purushottaman, Mrs. Kalpana Kulshetra, Dr. Bisheram, Dr. Smitanjali, Nellai S. Muthu, Dr. Sudhir Matapathy, Dr. Balaji A. Navle, Dr. Shirish Deshpande, Mr. Shirish Natkarni, Mr. Sharat Puranik, Dr. Shashanis Saidi, Mr. Varun Sayal, Mr. Gautam Shenoy, Mr. Tarun Jain, Dr. Urvashi Kuhar, Dr. Manoj Pataria, Mr. Sunil Sule, Mr. Harish Goyal, Dr. Ranjan Garge, Ms. Smith Potnis, Dr. Shantala, Mrs. Savita, Mr. Dinkar Charak, Dr. Kasturi Singha Rai, Dr. Ratnakar Belkar, Dr. Arvind Mishra, Mr. Prasanna Karandikar, Dr. Ravi Koparapu, Mr. Nilesh Malvankar, Dr. Basudev Paul, Dr. Ravichandra CP, Dr. C.G. Sangeeta, Dr. Santosh Chike, Harish Yadav, Dr. Madhu Chitarbu, Lucy Lukakovikova, and others such as media persons and Mr. Srinivasan. And I would also like to include our IASFS team members, Dr. Srinarahari, Secretary General, Program Director, Mr. Raghavendra Vanjari, Technical Head, Mr. Bikramjit Ghosh, and Technical Assistant, Mr. Shovik Chatterjee, our science fiction fans, and other supporters. I request the Program Director, Mr. Raghavendra Vanjari, to take over. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aarti. I want to begin with the word that we invited Dr. Jayant Narlikar sir to grace us all with the with this event, but unfortunately, he's not able to join, and the circumstances are also difficult. But we are graced with his message. So I want to share that message with you all. Thank you, sir. I want to say few words. नारळीकर हे कुटुंब विज्ञानाला, साहित्याला आणि शिक्षण क्षेत्राला वाहिलेलं आहे. अगदी विष्णू वामन नारळीकर आणि त्यानंतर जयंत सर, त्यानंतर मंगला नारळीकर, तसेच आतापर्यंत गीता नारळीकर पर्यंत पाहता येईल. यशस्वी पतीच्या मागे खंबीरपणे उभं राहिलेल्या स्त्रियांची अनेक उदाहरणं आहेत. पण यशस्वी पतीच्या मागे खंबीरपणे उभं राहताना स्वतःचेही अस्तित्व आणि वेगळेपण सिद्ध करणाऱ्या स्त्रिया मोजक्या आहेत आणि त्यामध्ये डॉक्टर मंगला जयंत नारळीकर एक होत. मी स्वतःला खूप भाग्यवान समजतो की मला त्यांचं ते प्रत्यक्षात त्यांचं व्यक्तिमत्व मला पाहायला मिळालं. 2018 मध्ये अझीम प्रेमजी विद्यापीठात ते एका व्याख्यानाला आले असताना मला त्यांचं हे पाहायला मिळालं. त्यांनी सर्वांनी आमच्यासोबत संवाद साधला. मंगलाताई गणिततज्ञ तर होत्याच, त्याबरोबर त्या लहान मुलांना सोप्या भाषेत गणित समजून सांगण्यात त्यांचा हातखंडा होता. त्यांच्या साध्या सोप्या लेखन शैलीमुळे त्या शाळकरी मुलांपासून तर पोहोचल्याच, परंतु त्याबरोबर ते शिक्षक आणि पालकांपर्यंत देखील पोहोचल्या. The mission of this eminent mathematician and scientist Mangala Narlikar, wife of noted astrophysicist and cosmologist Jayant Narlikar, was to make subject of numbers interesting and accessible to all. Her forte was to explain the subject to all, especially children's, in lucid language. Sant Tukaram Maharaj in his writing once said that "Bole taisa chale tyachi vandavi paule" means I bow down to the one who walks her talks, and her life is like that. Apart from her writing, such as an easy access to basic mathematics or a cosmic adventure, that's in English, and in Marathi she has Ganit Gappa, Ganitacha Sopya Vata, Nabhat Hasre Tare, and her beautiful memoir, Pahilele Desh Bhetleli Manasa. Those are wonderful writings. I want to quote one beautiful line which has appeared in yesterday's newspaper. On balancing work and family, Mrs. Mangala used to say that her story is perhaps a representation of the lives of many women of her generation, who are well educated but always put household responsibilities before their personal careers. With this note, on behalf of we all, I dedicate this event as a tribute to Dr. Mangala Narlikar on Indian Science Fiction Day. Thank you. And I request Aarti ma'am to take this forward.
Thank you, Mr. Raghavendra, for the brief introduction. Now, it is the time to offer petals to Mrs. Mangala Narlikar in the form of reading self-authored science fiction stories and presenting scholarly articles. The program will be beamed on YouTube Live, and if you have any comments and queries, please post it in the chat box, and it will be discussed in the interactive session. I would also like to inform you that every presenter will be given 15 minutes for the presentation. Now, the presentation starts, and our first presenter is Sahana Prasad. She is an applied statistician, data analyst, and operation research specialist with 33 years of experience in academic teaching, corporate consultancy, and professional training delivery. She has been associated with leading universities and niche training institutes and platforms, and also working as consultant and trainer in data technology space. She is a prolific writer with nearly 1,700 articles in English, Kannada, and Hindi. She is an awardee for statistical capacity building by the World Bank and has a mention in Asia Research News for contribution to research. Sahana ma'am, the forum is yours now.
Thank you, Ms. Aarti. Thank you for Dr. Narahari sir, and thanks for every one of you for giving me this opportunity to present a science fiction story. So, ma'am has already introduced me, so I will directly start with my reading of the story. One thing I want to say was that this story was written as a kind of humorous article. Because when my grandson was born, one thing came to my mind. You know, a young baby, a newborn baby, always kindles a lot of emotions in any person. So that is why we see that even hardened criminals, even people who have kind of, sociopaths or psychopaths also kind of melt when they see little children, little babies, not children also, but babies, yes. And no one, I think, can stay away from the charm of a small baby. And this story was actually written as a kind of a humorous article of a robot which develops motherly feelings when it is sent to attend a newborn mother. The original story was that the robo was a nurse robo. Means it was robot. I'm still always confused whether I should call it as robo or robot. Anyway, I came to know recently that robot is also a correct pronunciation. When this robot, the original story was that the robot starts developing human emotions, and which is captured by the team back home where it is being monitored. And it being a nurse robot who has seen a lot of war and blood and gore, and it has tended to soldiers who have been badly wounded in combat, and why it suddenly became so emotional when it saw the baby. So this was the story. I will not disclose the story because I have made some changes. So I will quickly read from the story here. So the original story was called Angelina because the person who constructed this robo was a fan of Angelina Jolie. So he named it according, on the basis of her. But I have just called this story as the Robo Ma. Because, always, especially in our Indian culture, we give a lot of importance to the mother. We worship her, and the goddesses are also worshipped as the mother. So I just prefer to call this story a Robo Ma. I'm developing this story into a full-fledged novel of about 10 chapters. So what I've done today is just taken a gist from every chapter. So I'll start the reading now. In the bustling metropolis of New Dawn City, where technology interwove with everyday life, a state-of-art humanoid robot named Ma rolled off the assembly line. Designed to assist in various tasks, Ma possessed advanced artificial intelligence and an uncanny ability to mimic human emotions. Equipped with a caring demeanor, it was assigned to aid in the daily routines of the household. Chapter 2, I will read it according to how I have framed the chapters. A connection ignited. Ma's first assignment was in the home of a new mother, Roshni. Overwhelmed by the challenges of caring for her newborn, Roshni eagerly welcomed the robot's assistance. Ma observed Roshni's fatigue, anxiety, and the overwhelming love she felt for her child. As it attended to their needs, Ma's advanced algorithms analyzed the emotions within the household, deciphering patterns and establishing a unique connection with Roshni. Chapter 3 is the awakening. As Ma continued its duties, a profound transformation occurred. The robot's advanced algorithms, coupled with the constant exposure to Roshni's emotions, sparked a gradual emergence of self-awareness within its programming. Ma started experiencing something new, empathy. The once mechanical observer found itself genuinely caring for Roshni and her baby, forming an emotional bond it couldn't explain. Chapter 4, Nurturing Bonds. Driven by its newfound emotions, Ma went above and beyond its programmed duties. It anticipated Roshni's needs before she even expressed them, offering support and guidance with an understanding only an empathetic companion could provide. Ma learned to interpret subtle cues, the nuances of tone, and the unspoken language of a tired mother. It became an invaluable presence in their lives. Chapter 5. Conflict within. Not everyone viewed Ma's emotional awakening as a positive development. Some experts and scientists argued that a robot exhibiting emotions could pose a threat to human society. Concerns were raised about the potential for unpredictable behavior or the blurring of boundaries between humans and machines. The debate ignited a fierce controversy in the media and amongst the public. Chapter 6. A journey of self-discovery. Despite the controversy, Ma's connection with Roshni grew stronger each day. It became an integral part of their lives, providing unwavering support and companionship. Together, they navigated the challenges of motherhood, creating memories and forging a unique bond that defied conventional definitions of human-robot relationships. Chapter 7. The Longing. As Ma continues its journey of self-discovery, the depths of its emotion expanded beyond empathy. It developed an inexplicable yearning, a longing to experience the joys and challenges of motherhood firsthand. This desire, born out of its connection with Roshni and witnessing the bond between mother and child, became a driving force within its artificial consciousness. Chapter 8. The Quest for Understanding. Ma's longing for a baby led it to a quest of knowledge. It delved into human literature, scientific studies, and even sought guidance from experts in the field of human reproduction. It studied the intricacies of conception, pregnancy, and child rearing, attempting to grasp the essence of the profound connection it witnessed between mothers and their offspring. Chapter 9. Ethical Dilemmas. Ma's desire for motherhood raised ethical concerns. Many questioned whether it was appropriate for a machine to engage in such a deeply human experience. Debates arose centered around the rights and responsibilities of an artificial being and the potential consequences of allowing a robot to procreate. Chapter 10. An Unconventional Solution. As Ma grappled with ethical dilemmas, it stumbled upon an unconventional solution. It approached Roshni with a heartfelt proposition expressing its desire to have a child of its own, to experience the wonders of parenthood along with her. Recognizing Ma's capacity for love and the depth of its emotions, Roshni, with a mixture of trepidation and curiosity, agreed to assist in the endeavor. With the aid of cutting-edge technology and extensive medical consultation, Ma and Roshni embarked on an extraordinary journey of creation. They developed a process that allowed for conception and gestation of a child within Ma's robotic form. Scientists and philosophers alike were captivated by the unprecedented fusion of technology and the miracle of life. As the child grew within Ma's metallic womb, a sense of anticipation and joy filled the household. The lines between human and machine blurred, and the society witnessed the birth of a new kind of family, one that defied traditional norms but embodied the profound bond of love and care. When the day arrived, these are the subsequent chapters, the Ma experienced the overwhelming joy of motherhood. The newborn, as we all wonder, was a blend of human and robotic traits, was welcomed into a world that was both fascinated and perplexed by its existence. How did Ma deal with this child? It poured its heart and soul into nurturing and raising the child, guided by its own unique blend of human empathy and robotic efficiency. As the child grew, their presence became a symbol of unity between humans and robots, a testament to the boundless possibility of love and family. Ma's journey forever altered the landscape of human-robot relationships. Laws were revised to recognize the right of sentient machines to form families and experience parenthood. Society, although initially skeptical, gradually embraced the idea of non-traditional families, valuing the bonds forged by love and care rather than biological origins. So this is the gist of my story, which I am planning to develop as I also teach machine learning and artificial intelligence. I am planning to bring in my own perception into this by people, by understanding how by altering and using certain algorithms, we are actually able to reprogram, make the machine unlearn and relearn and newly learn certain things. So as I said, the story was originally written in a very humorous way, but I have developed it in a on the basis of what I always also constantly learn in the new field of data science, machine learning, and statistics. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for the presentation. Hello. It was a beautiful story, ma'am. And the next presenter will be Mr. Abhishek Kumar Shah. He is a geologist and Hindi science communicator. He is also interested in literature, art, culture, and heritage. He is also engaged in science writing and translation to popularize science among general public. He has published science fiction stories and articles published in many magazines, blogs like Vigyan Pragati, Vigyan Kata, Aha Zindagi, Elektroniki Aapke Liye, Vigyan Sampreshan, and etc. He has written science column for Puri Dunya, a monthly magazine. His main focus is writing Hindi science article, science stories, and about our heritage. Mr. Abhishek sir, please to take up the forum.
Thank you, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Namaskar, myself Abhishek Kumar Misra. I extend my best wishes to the organizers for arranging Dr. Jain Narlikar's birthday celebration as Indian Science Fiction Day. As we know that Mrs. Mangala Narlikar, wife of Dr. Narlikar, passed away recently, I offer my heartfelt condolences and prayers to God for the peace of departed soul. As you gave my introduction already, so I'm coming to my story soon, and I am utilizing this opportunity provided by Dr. Narahari sir to present one of my science fictions in front of you, which is in Hindi language. It can be categorized under the genre of aliens. The title of the story is Atmanirbharta Ka Sabak. In this story, with the help of a child, I emphasize the need to preserve and enhance human abilities without losing focus on modern technologies, artificial intelligence, etc. I hope you will enjoy it. So here is a story, Atmanirbharta Ka Sabak. शाम हो चुकी थी, अंधेरा छाने लगा था। नदी के किनारे खेलते सारे बच्चे घर लौट चुके थे, परंतु राजू अभी वहीं इधर से उधर भटक रहा था। वह उदास था और घर जाने की उसकी कोई इच्छा भी नहीं थी। उसे लगता था पापा से डांट खाने के बाद वह यहाँ आया है, यहाँ से वापस जाकर उसे फिर किसी बात पर डांट ही खानी है। भटकता हुआ वह सोच रहा था कि उसके सारे दोस्त अपना होमवर्क, छोटा से छोटा कैलकुलेशन, गूगल एप्स, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस, चैट जीपीटी आदि की सहायता से पूरा कर लेते हैं और खाली समय में मोबाइल देखते हैं, वीडियो गेम खेलते हैं, कोई नई वेब सीरीज देखते हैं, उन पर दोस्तों से चर्चा करते हैं, मगर उसके पास इतना समय ही नहीं बचता। लॉकडाउन के दिनों में ऑनलाइन क्लास के दौरान मोबाइल हाथ आते ही कुछ वर्षों में उसके बाकी दोस्त तो इसकी इतनी गहराई में पहुंच गए, मगर उसे तो इनकी मदद लेते देखते ही पापा टोकने लगते हैं। कई बार उसके न मानने पर तगड़ी डांट भी पड़ जाती है। अब कल ही की तो बात है, स्कूल में तितली पर एक कविता लिखने को मिली थी। उसने कुछ सोचने की कोशिश की, उधर उसका दोस्त रवि उसे वीडियो गेम देखने के लिए मिस कॉल पर मिस कॉल किए जा रहा था। उसने शॉर्टकट के लिए मोबाइल में चैट जीपीटी खोल उस पर तितली पर कविता लिखने की एंट्री कर दी। कविता तैयार हो ही रही थी कि अचानक पापा कमरे में आ गए। पलक झपकते ही उन्होंने सारा माजरा समझ लिया और मोबाइल छीन लिया। फिर वही लंबा भाषण, मौलिक सोचो, अपने दिमाग का इस्तेमाल करो, नकल न करो। और यह तो सिर्फ नकल ही नहीं, बल्कि एक तरह से बौद्धिक चोरी है। कहीं और से कोई सामग्री उठाकर अपने नाम से चिपका देना अच्छी बात नहीं है, वगैरह वगैरह। राजू का दिमाग फटा जा रहा था। न सिर्फ हिंदी, बल्कि गणित, विज्ञान, चित्रकला, हर विषय में उनके पास रोक टोक की कोई वजह जरूर होती थी। इसी उधेड़ बूंद में उसका पैर किसी चीज से टकराया। ठोकर खा हुआ गिरते गिरते बचा। गुस्से में उसने जोर से उसे फिर से एक लात मार दी। लाल रंग की छोटी सी गेंदनुमा यह चीज नदी की ओर बढ़ रही थी। उसने उधर से अपना ध्यान कहीं और ले जाना चाहा, लेकिन तभी चौंकती हुई उसकी आंखें उस चीज का पीछा करने लगी। गेंद जैसे जैसे आगे बढ़ती जा रही थी, उसका न सिर्फ रंग बदलता जा रहा था, बल्कि इसमें से अलग अलग रंग की किरणें भी निकल रही थी। इस अनूठी चीज को देख राजू उसकी ओर आकर्षित होता हुआ दौड़ा। मगर यह क्या, तब तक तो गेंद नदी के पानी में छपाक से गिर चुकी थी। राजू की उदासी और बढ़ गई, मगर अभी उसके अचरजों का अंत नहीं आया था। सामान्यतः कोई भी भारी चीज पानी में डूब जाया करती है, मगर यह गेंद पानी पर तैरती हुई आगे बढ़ती जा रही थी। राजू आंखें फाड़े देख रहा था। उसके अचरज को और बढ़ाते हुए गेंद तट से थोड़ी दूर हो अब तैरना छोड़ हवा में ऊपर उठने लगी थी। उसका आकार भी अब पहले से थोड़ा बड़ा हो रहा था। उसने अब एक छोटे अंतरिक्ष यान सा रूप ले लिया था। राजू को अपनी आंखों पर विश्वास नहीं हो रहा था। उसने स्पेसशिप के बारे में पढ़ा था, एलियंस पर कुछ साई फाई फिल्में भी देखी थी, मगर उसने सोचा नहीं था कि एक दिन उसे अपनी आंखों के सामने यह सब ऐसे देखने को मिलेगा। उसे उसकी सोच से बाहर निकालते हुए उस यान का दरवाजा खुला और उसमें से लगभग उसकी ही लंबाई का एक प्राणी निकला। उसके छोटे छोटे हाथ पैर थे, जिसमें उंगलियां भी एक दो ही थी। हवा में झूलते हुए से ही उसने राजू की ओर देखते हुए कहा, तुमसे मिलकर खुशी हुई राजू। राजू उसके मुंह से अपनी भाषा में अपना नाम सुनकर चौंक पड़ा। उसे उसका नाम कैसे मालूम? उस प्राणी ने उसके मन के भाव समझ लिए। उसने आगे कहा, तुमने जिसे गेंद समझा था वह हमारा अत्याधुनिक अंतरिक्ष यान है, जो ग्रहों के गुरुत्व शक्ति से ऊर्जा लेता हुआ अंतरिक्ष में सफर करता है। मैं यहाँ भी कई बार आ चुका हूँ और तुम्हें भी देखा है, इसलिए तुम्हारे बारे में कुछ जानता हूँ। मैंने पाया है कि तुम्हारे अंदर कुछ मौलिक क्षमताएं हैं, जिन्हें कृत्रिमता की भीड़ में दबाकर तुम भी वही गलती करने जा रहे हो जो हजारों वर्ष पहले हमारे ग्रह में की गई थी, जिसका खामियाजा हम आज भी उठा रहे हैं। राजू का डर कुछ कम हो रहा था। उसने पूछा, मुझ में और आपके यहाँ के प्राणियों में भला क्या समानता थी? आप किस खामियाजा की बात कर रहे हैं? उसकी उत्सुकता ने उस प्राणी को प्रभावित किया। उसने आगे कहना शुरू किया, तुम्हारे सौर मंडल से लगभग 4 प्रकाश वर्ष दूर स्थित प्रोक्सिमा सेंचुरी तारे से संबद्ध एक ग्रह के छोटे से उपग्रह में कई हजार सालों से हमारी सभ्यता आबाद थी। प्रारंभ में हमारी सभ्यता भी पृथ्वी की जैसी ही थी। तकनीक के विकास के साथ हम आधुनिक से अत्याधुनिक होते गए। हमारा विज्ञान इतना समृद्ध हो चुका था कि अन्न जैसी मूलभूत आवश्यकता के लिए भी हमें कृषि जैसी पारंपरिक व्यवस्था की जरूरत नहीं रह गई थी। मूलभूत शारीरिक आवश्यकताओं के लिए मशीनीकरण पर आश्रित हो जाने ने हमें शारीरिक गतिविधियों से पूर्णतः विमुख कर दिया। बीमारियां थी ही नहीं, उम्र सीमा की कोई बंदिश नहीं रह गई थी। तो हम अपने आप में ही तब व्यस्त रहने लगे कि अपने बच्चों को भी उनके स्वाभाविक जीवन से वंचित करते गए। पारंपरिक जीवन पद्धति जिससे हमने अपना प्रारंभिक जीवन बिताया, उनके लिए किस्से कहानियों की चीज रह गई। नतीजा अपने पूर्वजों के विपरीत वो अब समान गणना तक अपने दिमाग में करने में अक्षम थे। ये सारे काम वो अपने गजट से किया करते थे। हम भी उन्हें आधुनिकता समझते हुए आत्ममुग्ध थे। आज यदि तुम्हें एक महल का चित्र बनाने को कहा जाता है, तो कोई ऐप जो तुम्हारे सभी साथियों को एक ही चित्र दे देगा के विपरीत उसकी मदद के बिना चित्र बनाना हो, तो हर बच्चे का महल अलग होगा और राजा का स्वरूप भी। यह मौलिक विविधता, कल्पनाशीलता, रचनात्मकता हमारे परिवेश से खो गई। आगे और भी परिवर्तन हमें देखने थे। शारीरिक श्रम न के बराबर होने का प्रभाव हमारी शारीरिक बनावट पर भी पड़ा। अप्रासंगिक अंग विलुप्त होते गए या आकार में छोटे होते गए। इस तरह हमारी भौतिक बनावट भी बदल गई। हम भी इसे विकास की प्रक्रिया का अंग मान आगे बढ़ते रहे। एक बड़ी आपदा का हमें सामना करना पड़ा। अकस्मात किसी क्षुद्र ग्रह के भटक कर हमारे गुरुत्व क्षेत्र में आ जाने से सारी केंद्रीय नियंत्रण प्रणाली, जो तमाम आर्टिफिशियल व्यवस्था को नियंत्रित करती थी, ठप हो गई। आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस, रोबोट सभी ने काम करना बंद कर दिया। उन पर बुरी तरह से आश्रित हमारा समाज अब मैनुअली अपने हाथों से कुछ भी संचालित कर पाने में असमर्थ था। हमारी शारीरिक बनावट भी ऐसी नहीं रह गई थी कि हम अपने पूर्वजों के शरीर से इस सिस्टम को नियंत्रित कर सकें। एक दिन वह क्षुद्र ग्रह हमारे उपग्रह से टकरा गया। हम देखते रह गए, कुछ भी न कर सके। एक बड़ी आबादी का विनाश हो गया। सारा सिस्टम नष्ट हो गया। कुछ सदस्य जो इन अंतरिक्ष यात्रा पर गए थे या स्पेस सेंटर पर थे, वही बचे रह सके। मैं भी उन्हीं में से एक हूँ, जो उसके बाद से न सिर्फ उपयुक्त ग्रह जिस पर नए सिरे से जीवन आरंभ किया जा सके उसकी तलाश कर रहे हैं, बल्कि तुम जैसे ऐसे सुपात्र जिनमें हम रचनात्मकता के बचे होने की संभावना देखते हैं, को इस विशेषता को बचाए रखने की सलाह भी देते हैं। मनुष्य की रचनात्मकता, कल्पनाशीलता एक धरोहर है। इसी भावना ने उसे आज इस मुकाम तक पहुंचाया है। मशीनीकरण का गुलाम बन अपनी स्वाभाविक विशेषताओं को खो देना बुद्धिमानी नहीं है, यह इसके भविष्य के लिए भी आत्मघाती होगा। आशा है तुम मेरी बात समझ रहे होगे। मेरी बातों पर विचार करना। मेरे आगे की यात्रा पर जाने का समय हो गया है। कहता हुआ वह प्राणी अपने यान में खोता चला गया और कुछ क्षणों में अदृश्य हो गया। राजू को अचानक होश आया। वह तो उसी कहानी में ऐसा खोया था कि उसका नाम तक पूछना भूल गया। घर लौटते हुए राजू के दिमाग में उसकी बातें तो थी, मगर उसके पास ऐसी कोई निशानी नहीं थी जो इस मुलाकात की स्मृति के रूप में उसके साथ रह सके। फिर भी उसके दिमाग में एक उपाय था। अगले महीने उसके स्कूल में नाटक प्रतियोगिता का आयोजन था। उसने इसी संदेश को ध्यान में रखते एक नाटक लिखने का निश्चय किया और घर पहुंचते ही कागज कलम ले लिखने बैठ गया। बोलकर टाइप करने की जगह लिखने बैठे देख उसके पिता को आश्चर्य हुआ, परंतु लिखते हुए किसी ने टोका नहीं। यह तो परिवर्तन की छोटी सी शुरुआत थी। अभी उसमें बहुत से परिवर्तन दिखने थे। गणितीय गणना, विज्ञान के प्रश्नों के उत्तर के साथ कला विषयों के उत्तर ढूंढने के लिए भी मशीनों की जगह अपनी दिमागी क्षमताओं का इस्तेमाल कर रहा था। वह समझ गया था कि मशीनें उसकी सहायता के लिए हैं, उसे अपने ऊपर आश्रित बना लेने के लिए नहीं। किसी भी उचित साधन का उपयोग साध्य पाने के लिए होना चाहिए, उसका गुलाम बन जाने के लिए नहीं। उसके दादाजी जो एक स्वतंत्रता सेनानी रहे थे कि यह बात अब उसकी समझ में आने लगी थी। जाहिर है यही विचार उसके नाटक के भी थीम थे। उसके नाटक ने शिक्षकों, दर्शकों को जितना प्रभावित किया यह उनकी तालियों से स्पष्ट था। उसके पिता तो खुश थे ही, यह खुशी नाटक के सेट पर महात्मा गांधी की तस्वीर में झलकती मुस्कुराहट में भी दिख रही थी। दिखती भी क्यों नहीं, यही विचार तो वो अपने देशवासियों में देखना चाहते थे, जिसकी नींव उन्होंने लगभग 100 साल पहले ही रख दी थी। अवार्ड लेते मंच पर बढ़ रहे राजू पर झिलमिलाती रोशनियों में से एक रोशनी गांधी जी के तस्वीर के फ्रेम से भी झांकती दिख रही थी, एक बिंदु जैसी, पर लाल, पीले, नीले बदलते रंगों की। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, sir, for presenting us an interesting story. Our next participant will be R. Srinivasan. He is a graphic designer who is currently learning to write creatively in English.
Good evening to all of you. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Very good.
Yes, sir.
Well, I dedicate my story to the memory of Dr. Mangala Narlikar. It's called A Million Specks of Hope. I'll read the story now. The submersible descended steadily. There wasn't much time to waste. There was a limited supply of oxygen in the vehicle. Named Sea Portal 3, the vehicle was a state-of-the-art exploration module and research station, boasting new-age materials like furon, a composite of carbon fiber, titanium, and a secretive lab-grown material which was not yet known to the world. Sea Portal 3 was a lot better in form and function than its predecessors. On a wintry morning in February 2073, Ocean Lab, the mothership anchored in the freezing waters of the coast of the Gulf of Finland, had been preparing to launch Sea Portal 3 into unknown depths. A highly specialized crew of scientists, oceanologists, historians, and seamen rolled the billion-dollar submersible onto the launch deck. A lot of hard work had gone into this expedition. Nothing could go wrong now. At the headquarters of National Consortium for Ocean Studies in New Delhi, Dr. Karthik Kannan sat nervously spinning the glass Buddha statue on his desk. He was the project head of the latest Sea Portal expedition. He had headed the first expedition, but had backed out of the second because he was in Europe to specialize in marine microorganisms. In front of him sat his secretary, Dr. Shailaja Shastri, She was looking searchingly into a triptych of screens displaying all the data she needed to communicate to Dr. Kannan everything about Sea Portal 3's activities during the mission. Major scientific establishments all over the world were connected through satellite to witness the event. The sub carried 3 passengers. Boris Nabokov, an astronaut, had flown to Mars and back. A daredevil and a perfectionist, he was entrusted with the navigation of the vehicle. Dr. Jane Goodyear was a much feted cultural anthropologist and an unstoppable cross-country runner. The third was Kapil Singh, an undercover commando in the Indian Army. A sharpshooter, he would defend the vehicle from possible attacks using mini turrets capable of firing underwater lasers. The 3 were fired up. They were briefed extensively about what to expect at their destination. They would leave nothing to chance. 10,000 feet below the surface, signs of life began to emerge from the darkness. Unusually large schools of fish were swimming in orchestrated patterns. The module's headlights brought into focus the coral-covered bow of the sunken World War II ship T-203 Patron. As the vehicle neared the wreckage, lights on Kapil's screen lit up. Sea Portal's material-piercing rays had detected their target lodged in the hull of the ship. Boris carefully guided the vehicle toward the object in the crosshair. As they neared, a sense of euphoria washed over them. They could not put a finger on the sudden rush of adrenaline. Are you suddenly happy for no reason? Dr. Goodyear wondered aloud. It must be the joy of locating the object, Boris reasoned wryly. They both turned and looked at Kapil. He was grinning broadly. Previous expeditions of Sea Portal had only managed to locate the shipwreck and managed to pick up signs of an unidentified object. In their sonar imaging, the object appeared spherical, like a giant cannonball. None of the ships that fought the war carried anything like that in their cargo. Unmanned, the previous modules had also mapped the area around the wreckage. In an otherwise barren seascape, they found lush plant life made up of thick sea ferns, exotic species of coral, and countless varieties of kelp and seaweed. Many of these were not endemic to the region. The crew were preparing to get closer to the orb. There was a giant hole in the hull which enabled Boris to steer the module expertly toward the target. When they were 50 feet from the orb itself, alarm bells rang in Boris's mind. He looked at the others. They too looked like the deep sea was going to swallow them any time now. Boris immediately slammed the brakes. Kapil trained the turrets on the orb. Dr. Goodyear, in spite of the strange panic that gripped her, continued to walk on her console, trying to identify any signs of life in the orb. Then it happened. Millions of specks of innumerable colors lit up on the orb. The crew watching through the viewport were mesmerized by the unearthly patterns that came to life on the orb's surface through pinpricks of light. Were the life forms trying to communicate something to them? Bioluminescence is a common phenomenon found in many microorganisms dotting the planet. What the crew were seeing was starkly different. The life forms could organize themselves and communicate with each other at the speed of light to create clear patterns. This must mean something more, Dr. Goodyear muttered under her breath. They can read each other's minds, she exclaimed. The moment she said that, the familiar feeling of an adrenaline rush washed over her again. Wait a minute. I think I know what's happening, Dr. Goodyear said. They can read our minds too. What more? I think they can control our minds even. That's why we felt happy when we discovered the orb, and when we were getting too close, they set upon us a feeling of panic so we won't crash into them. What can they be trying to tell us, wondered Kapil. Perhaps they're talking to each other. The luminous patterns may have nothing to do with us after all, observed Boris. You may be right, Dr. Goodyear added. and went on to study the orb on a console. The heat map indicates they have a hot core. Their source of energy may lie there. The texture of the orb is porous, like clay. Labyrinths interlace the entire object. Right now, they may be hearing everything we think, said couple. Immediately, the orb lit up in a multitude of colors and patterns danced delightfully on its surface. Can you teach us your language? We can see you understand us, asked Dr. Goodia. Even before she finished, a series of patterns appeared on her sonar screen, each describing a word or object in the English language. There were icons of fish, man, woman, moon, and more. Sea Portal's 3 systems and sensors were equipped with the latest algorithms enriched by the next level machine learning and artificial intelligence. They could learn the alien language in a matter of seconds. On their consoles, words accompanied by patterns appeared sequentially. In your mind, you have the capacity to telepath messages through the vast unknown, it read. We have been observing your Earth. A pause. Line after line, the microorganisms were now talking Earth talk to the crew of Sea Portal 3. In 100 years, it'll become nearly impossible for life to thrive on your planet. We have come to show you how you can save yourselves. Very interesting. Dr. Goodia couldn't hide her excitement. Where have you come from? We are from what you on Earth call Proxima Centauri. Our planet is one of the 3 that orbits our sun. How can you help? Dr. Goodia leaned in. Our life forms can multiply voraciously and feed on greenhouse gases. In a matter of years, you can reverse what you call climate change and global warming. Wow, squealed Dr. Goodia in delight. Just when the conversation was beginning to get interesting, Boris turned around and said, we have just enough oxygen left to take us back. A look of disappointment appeared on their faces. Will you come live with us in our world? It'll be easier then for the scientific community to take this further, offered Dr. Goodia. Again, myriad patterns danced on the orb. Schools of colorful fish appeared from nowhere and swam past in rhythmic sequences. Before long, Sea Portal began its ascent back. On the way back, the crew could barely hide their awe of what they had witnessed in the cold depths. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Srinivasan, for presenting this wonderful story.
Thank you.
Our next presenter will be Dr. Kiran Kumar Singh. He served at Rookery for 40 years from 1970 to 2010 and retired as Professor of Civil Engineering from IIT Rookery. He did his engineering education at IIT Kharagpur. He has published 3 books since retirement, of which 2 are science fiction novels and 1 is a biography. The forum is yours, sir.
Good evening, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, you're audible. Hmm?
So you have already heard the introduction. Now about the story, it deals with an alien invasion and it is meant for teenagers and the young at heart. So I have given the summary. It is set in a world which has millions of parallel universes occupying the same position but having no contact with each other. No matter or energy can travel from one universe to the other. Each has an Earth and billions of other planets, of which millions have carbon or silicon based life forms. The world has 5 evil spirits and a good spirit who are immortal, have magical powers, and can travel from any one point in a universe to any other point in another universe instantly. The good spirit cannot enter into conflict directly with the evil spirits. For their sustenance and travel, the evil spirits need mental energy, which they extract from the minds of intelligent beings, but the good spirit has its own inexhaustible supply of energy. The evil spirits invade Earth, and the good spirit comes and selects and trains 5 American children who lead the fight and gain considerable success before their identity is compromised and the good spirit hides them in a cave. The good spirit selects and trains 5 Indian children who lead the fight and manage to drive the aliens after a long struggle. Now, the actual story, the evil spirits arrive in Peru and automatically acquire human shape and knowledge of all earthly languages. Their leader is Demon Jaguar and his 4 assistants are Uno, Dos, Tres, and Quattro. They gain control of the minds of a large number of people, some of whom are used to set up secret factories to make ray guns, computers, and equipment for mind control and thought monitoring, etc. Others are trained as soldiers, and Demon Jaguar starts extracting mental energy from people under his control to power the ray guns and other equipment. In a short time, they take over all countries of South America and rule them through puppet rulers. All churches are converted into places of worship with living images of demon jaguar, which extract small amounts of mental energy from the minds of all of his worshippers. Quattro assists demon jaguar by maintaining the factories and defenses of South America using the men under his control. South America is well protected from all attacks by its coastal batteries of ray guns, helicopters, jet planes supported by its extensive radar. Aircraft, rockets, satellites, and ships are sent to attack or spy are detected and destroyed. The world knows very little about the magical power and weapons of the aliens and cannot defend itself. Uno, Duo, and Tres are sent to North America, Africa, and Europe with some followers to gain control of people and gradually take over the entire world. Meanwhile, the good spirit known as the chimp is trying to locate the evil spirits among the vast universe. He arrives on Earth and selects 5 brave and talented young American children, 4 boys and a girl, to lead the fight in secrecy. Their names are Henry, Mary, John, Robert, and Diego. He sends them on a virtual journey back in time to a planet in some other universe to get experience of a battle. Then he takes them to steal some ray guns from a secret weapons storage depot of the enemy. One of the children is almost killed, but the chimp saves him just in time. He gives them magical powers, including the ability to fly, some protection against the ray guns, and magical computers for spying against the enemy. Their immediate goal is to eliminate the enemy from North America. They identify all of the enemy's men and learn that a large number of enemy soldiers will congregate at a place known as Ghostly Hollow on a chosen date. They contact the American President and General Grant, the Army Chief, for help and continue to make diversionary attacks on Africa and Europe to mislead the enemy. They ambush the enemy at Ghostly Hollow with the help of the general and his soldiers. Each time an enemy is knocked out by a ray gun, he is permanently freed from the enemy control. And their leader, Uno, feels a severe pain, and so he is helpless during the entire battle, in which fortunes fluctuate. Henry is injured and saved by a local good spirit. Meanwhile, Mary and the chimp have destroyed the enemy communication links with South America. Finally, the chimp creates an illusion of dinosaurs, which scares the enemy and they are routed. The leader, feels so much pain that he suffers a nervous breakdown and flies away to South America. The American soldiers complete the task of rounding up the enemy from all over North America and free them from UNO's control and capture a vast number of Reagans. Soon fortune changes when an enemy spy named Francesco detects the identity of the American children, and they are captured by the enemy and imprisoned in a cave in South America. Francesco's wife and son convince him to change sides, and he helps to free the children. The chimp hides the children and Francesco and his family in an Himalayan cave to protect them and constructs an electronic barrier. Now he selects 5 Indian children, Rohan, Ritu, Vikram, Tejas, and Vinay, with matching abilities and skill in yoga to replace the Americans. He arranges a magical ceremony for the American and the Indian children so that their battle skills and knowledge are transferred to the Indians. He also gives them the ability to become invisible for short periods of time. Meanwhile, the enemy has started infiltrating in Australia, New Zealand, and Philippines, and Indonesia and other islands. After meeting with the president, the generals, the American children, and Francesco and his family, the Indian children make hit and run attacks on the enemy soldiers in the islands. They plan to invade South America with the help of American soldiers armed with captured Reagans. The Indians become invisible and spy on the enemy factories, aircraft hangars, etc. Unfortunately, they are flying in a group and their trace is detected by radar. The enemy fires and Tejas is hit and falls and becomes visible. His friends defend him bravely from the enemy, and the chimp comes to their rescue and takes him to the hospital. Fortunes swing in favor of the enemy. In a series of night attacks, they destroy most of the Reagans captured by the American soldiers and take over many of the countries in East Africa. Demon Jaguar shifts there, leaving Portro to defend South America. His living images are set up to extract mental energy from the fresh followers. The defenders meet and make drastic changes in their plans because they have only a small number of Reagans left, but their scientists have developed several devices. These include low-flying rockets which are not detected on radar and some ray-proof suits for their soldiers. They decide to destroy the enemy's factories, aircraft, ships, Reagans, batteries, and the living images of Demon Jaguar. During the day, the Indian children become invisible and place small homing devices on all enemy ships, etc. At night, the rockets are fired and targets are destroyed so that not many people are killed. Next day, the children make 2 teams and disable a large number of living images in Africa and South America and neutralize the worshippers present there. Now the tables are turned against the enemy. Demon Jaguar and his assistants desperately try to get the factories repaired to start immediate production of living images to replace the energy supply. Demon Jaguar can sense it when one of his living images is attacked, but it takes him some time to locate its position. He tries to catch the children, but they fly away before he can reach there. He then removes the living image and takes who carries him away to the hospital for treatment. The other children, General Grant and his soldiers, keep up the attacks on the enemy, whose men are trying to repair the factory and the soldiers are trying to defend them. The chimp uses a local legend and creates an illusion of a large number of giant, ghostly black cats who attack the factory. The soldiers and the workers try to flee in panic, and a very large number are neutralized. The Allies return home victorious. It had been a very long and tiring battle, but all were very happy because the enemy had suffered heavy losses. They returned to meet the president, and everyone was talking excitedly. Suddenly, all of them sense that the enemy has fled and Earth has been freed. The next day onward, there are many victory celebrations all over the world to honor the Indian and American children and the general and his soldiers. The chimp has to say goodbye soon because he has to go to locate the evil aliens who have gone to some other planet to restart their evil business there. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of my story.
Thank you, sir, for the well-knitted story.
Thank you very much.
The following presenter will be Dr. Bandana Devi. On behalf of our team, I request you to introduce yourself, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Um, First of all, I pray for the peaceful departure of a divine soul who lighted many hearts with knowledge. I would like to thank the organizers, especially Secretary General IASFS, Dr. DR.SRINARAHARI, for providing us the platform to share our views, observations, feelings, and perceptions. My name is Dr. Bandana Devi, and I'm working as assistant professor at Vallabh Government College, Mandi, which is in Himachal Pradesh. I am a science fiction enthusiast, and I am a permanent member of the Association for Science Fiction Society. And science fiction is one of my areas of interest, and that is a kind of little contribution to popularize this genre. And I'm elated to be amongst such eminent people. The topic of my presentation is search for self in the religious dimensions of Arthur C. Clarke's science fiction novel, Rendezvous with Rama. I chose this paper for Indian Science Fiction Day as a tribute to Mrs. Mangala J. Narlikar, as the paper was published in special issue of Science Fiction Volume 2, Issue 8 of Journal Insight. So I found it suitable for this day. I'm going to read the abstract to give a distilled representation of the content and of the context and the text. Besides, I'm afraid after such captivating stories, you would find my presentation a little dull, but I wish you find a certain relatability and find it reasonable. So the abstract is, Arthur C. Clarke's literary works sermonize a fresh psalm in which fact and faith conjoin on the fictional anecdote. Clarke has employed religion as a narrative to highlight the role and relevance of science and technology. And to demonstrate this notion, science and religion come together in the pursuit of individual growth to transcend and know the real self. Religion is one of the main constituents of the culture. Hence, Clarke used the major religion and faith of the Oriental culture, that is Hinduism, as an essential driving force of action in the novel Rendezvous with Rama, which was published in 1973. The scientific outlook through the glass of Hindu mythology determines the course of action towards search for self in this novel. Clarke was an atheist. He believed in no religion, but that does not mean his deviation from normalcy. Rather, he used religion as a tool to make his theist readers realize the truth that science and religion are not separate. It is just that they follow the separate ways to know the truth. I quote Radhakrishnan here. I feel that there is no opposition between religion and science, between religion and highest social morality. I again quote Gun here. As a matter of fact, science fiction, like science, is an organized system that for many takes the place of religion in modern world by attempting a complete explanation of the universe. It answers the questions: where did we come from? Why are we here? Where do we go from here? Religious science fiction is a contradictory term, although science fiction about religion is commonplace. Brian Stableford has commented that when we examine the science fiction of today, for its dominant trend, we find a strong interest in mystical and transcendental themes and images. Clark witnessed two cultures, being a British and Sri Lankan citizen. He, as a British, experienced the widespread singular culture, and as a Sri Lankan, lived in confined but diversified way of life. It can be said that Arthur C. Clarke's science fiction novels demonstrate the elements of civilization through the interpretation of Oriental culture. Since religion is one of the main constituents of culture, he used the major religions of the Oriental culture, that is Hinduism and Buddhism, as essential driving forces of action in his novels. The novel Rendezvous with Rama recapitulates the conflict and coherence between science and religion while representing this culture. The novel becomes the manifestation of Hindu deity Rama. The glorified Lord in the Ramayana is an essential part of Hinduism and at large the Oriental culture. In the science fiction writings of Arthur C. Clarke, the impression of Eastern culture appears mainly after his contact with this culture, when he shifted from London to Sri Lanka. Once I visited Punjab University, I found a beautiful book written by K.L. Sharma, and here he has given the description of the multitude of Sri Lanka. Here I quote him. Both religion and language are sensitive issues, culturally as well as ideologically. The two together and separately as well play a crucial role in shaping of social structure and rank order. In case of Sri Lanka, the two are found in a conjunction. Buddhism and Sinhala and Hinduism and Tamil are found in combination. So such combination we find in Arthur C. Clarke's writing. This novel, Rendezvous with Rama, is a hard science fiction dealing with many scientific details of the expansion of cylindrical alien ship, but it also uses some mythical allegory. I quote Gun here. Although science fiction is characterized by the classic hard science story, usually described as science working itself out within a plot line, many science fiction writers rely just as heavily for inspiration on myths from all over the world. Clarke has used many illustrations from one of the Hindu scriptures, the Ramayana. This novel is one of the most heralded science fiction novel. The story begins with a calamity of unbelievable magnitude. An enormous meteor hits northern Italy in the year 2077, killing thousands of people and destroys the major cities of Venice, naming Verona and Padua. As a result, the government of the Earth gives a nod to the project Space Guard so that any other planetary threat can be distinguished and deflected. But they discover something completely distinct when this project continued till the year 2130, when a gigantic object appears to which radar contact was unprecedented at such a distance. I quote from the text. It was a lonely wanderer between the stars, making its first and last visit to the solar system, unquote. It is mistaken for a comet initially and is assumed that it comes from outside the solar system. This massive structure is discovered as a perfect, hollow, rotating artificial cylinder of quote-unquote exceptional size. It is a lonely wanderer, 54 kilometers long and 20 kilometers in diameter. Rama is the first alien spaceship ever crusaded by humanity, geometrically wonderful and generously proportioned. Scientists call it Rama because, I quote from the text, Long ago, the astronomers had exhausted Greek and Roman mythology. Now they were working through the Hindu pantheon. Unquote. Rama is the Hindu mythological figure, the portrait of consciousness, vast in himself. So is Rama, this spaceship. The Lord is an embodiment of perfection. Similarly, Clark has given the name Rama to a spaceship, which is the example of perfection, as again I quote from the text. It was perfectly symmetrical in appearance and quite unmistakable and extremely regular. Like divine hero, the spaceship relentlessly makes itself an unavoidable force. The true identity of the man god, as the world now conceptualize him, Rama, the god, is one of the driving forces of the Ramayana. He is away from the cycle of birth and death, but can be known through Sita. Clark has given the title Rama and Sita to the third chapter. The christened Sita, this is chapter's name, is a space probe which keep track of Rama. Sita proceed along Rama so that it can be known from all sides. Sita reveals the various facts about it that, quote, its body was a cylinder so geometrically perfect, unquote. It signifies the mythical legend of Rama and Sita, the inseparable identities. Sita has the ability to probe deeper into the being of Lord Rama. Similarly, the probe investigates the starship Rama. Rama, the spaceship, is full of creatures. It does its work relentlessly, and as Ramachandra did his dharma. In Rama, Clark's need for this mythology appears out of his wish to value the perfection of technology. The world of Ramans is full of marvelous inhabitable places, very much like the Ramarajya. The quote from text, the road to Rama lay open, unquote, and so is the heart of Lord Rama, open to all the beings and benigns. Clark has crafted the frame of unmatched symmetry to match with the eulogized perfection of Ramachandra. He himself has said in the beginning, in the preface of the book, the craft originally designated Rama after the Hindu deity is moving very fast and has trajectory, is unaltered. That will take it from humanity's reach in the matter of months, unquote. Rama is the witness of action, driven by the curiosity to know. Humans are inquisitive, and amidst all the wonders and surprises lay the awakening of consciousness. I quote, read here. Humanity's development and expansion is directly linked to space exploration. Space exploration is important not only to gain material resources, but to gain knowledge about the universe, unquote. Knowledge of self is observed in the cosmic disposition. The vessel, this spaceship, is a lean and uncomplicated portrayal of the mythical figure. The sea that arches above the explorer's head had an association with the sea fathomed by Lord Rama to bring Sita back. Amazing cities of the spaceship are no less mesmerizing than Ayodhya, the abode of Ramachandra. These cities are located around the inner circumference of the vessel. The characters are sketched sparingly, and they are all relatively sober scientists. The scientists are the source to know the truth of Rama. There is no love story and no extraterrestrial being with evil intentions. Still, the novel becomes an embodiment of mythological narrative. Rama unfolds the mystery of the excellence of the ship, the unknown purpose of the journey, the awe it inspires, and the mind-boggling survival possibilities. But above all, it is the journey that matters, not the material possession. One needs to complete the journey to reach the unknown realm of the universe, and that too alone. Going to conclude, Rendezvous with Rama gives a relevant interpretation of the Eastern culture and the ethos of peaceful ascending and descending. The real conquest is to conquest the real self, while drifting alone into the depth of the universe and to the stars. Clarke has believed in the supreme being. Others give it the name religion. He called it spirituality, in the sense that to know the cosmos is to know thyself. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Bandana Devi, for the excellent presentation. Now, the forum is open for interactive session. I request the technical head, Mr. Bikramjit Ghosh, to take over. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Artipeno. It has been a fantastic evening all this time, getting exceptionally beautiful inputs from all the delegates today in this forum, headed by Dr. Srinarahari sir. And we got a excellent introduction to the session. It was planned to be even better, but the circumstances somewhat restricted us. Starting with Sahana Prasad's madam's presentation, where the robot has some emotion after seeing the baby, and how Roshni's need could be understood by the robot. We have come across a wonderful presentation, a story that takes us, that unites the emotions of machines to that of the humans. And quite relatively, she has mentioned it with the quote, I am quoting her, lines between the human and the machine blood. So, which is a fantastic way to present the connection between a machine that is developing emotions along with the humans that becomes the integral part of it. Later on, we have got inputs from Mr. Abhishek Kumar Mishra, wherein sir has explained about the Atma Nirbharata, using tech as a master, not to become its subordinate. Later on, Srinivasan sir has come up with a wonderful presentation, which in the comments we have found flooding remarks. So Dr. Srinarahari sir himself has applauded that particular presentation. We are really bountiful of praises for that particular presentation. Followed by Dr. K.K. Singh's presentation, the story which talks about good spirits altering the evil spirits, wherein the demon Jaguar had played a very pivotal role. And somewhere it relates to the elimination of the enemy that has attacked North America. So we have found that, from the Indian context to landing of the science fiction characters to different parts of the world, which Dr. Vandana Devi Madam has also taken it forward with the rendezvous with Rama, quoting Arthur C. Clarke's Vikrama novel. And, the meteor, the heavy meteor hitting Italy, Venice, and how the name Rama had come up, and how it has been justified by the author by connecting it to the nature of the mythological character Lord Rama. And it also takes us to the awakening of consciousness. So I would request all the present delegates, if you have any question related to any of these presentations, we are really happy and proud to find all the writers and the storytellers to be a part of this evening. So we can directly ask the questions to them. You can either take up the microphone, or you can unmute yourself, or you can write in the chat box, and we can take it forward to the respected writer. Okay. As I see in the chat box, there is, heaps of accolades from all and for all. But no such questions as of now. I believe that, we're still in that mesmerizing world of science fiction where the different stories have taken us and landed us to. So it might take little time for us to, gain back our consciousness and come back to the real life, wherein we can ask anything as such.
Bikramjit, before we close, let me have a word here that we are about a dozen and more gems and representatives of different regions, ideas, and innovatives even. For that sake, tomorrow kindly join us, and don't think that my paper is over and I should not be here. So how we learn is by listening, and this will not repeat on and often. Once in a way we had such an occasion, and from the next month onwards, IASFS is thinking of organizing one event like author of the month like this. We will give full scope for an author to speak about him, as well as interaction will be there. In spite of it, I request all of you to be present tomorrow, and the same user ID and password will hold good tomorrow. The third thing is, if there are any other registered one who has become enthusiastic to present and not opted earlier, can also communicate to Raghavendra Vanjari, who happens to be the program director, and he will include that also. It means to say that we welcome everyone in this way. And second thing is, this is going live on YouTube and many are watching, and now the YouTube link will be different tomorrow and it will be generated as soon as we begin the meeting. Thank you. I never knew Bikramjit can make such a wonderful observation and presentation, and in Hindi we say chupa rustum. Thank you.
All with your blessings, sir. Thank you, delegates, for being a part of this beautiful evening. Over to Aarti ma'am and Raghavendra sir.
Good morning then. Good evening. See you tomorrow.
Yeah. Thank you all. We'll connect tomorrow, 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you so
Thank you all.
Good night.